I didn't realize how many people hate federal workers until the last couple weeks. Over the last few weeks, I have been told I am lazy, I get paid too much, or I don't contribute anything into American society. I'm a GS7 living in New York City, one of the most expensive places in the world. You can look up that salary if you want. Not to mention, I have an Ivy League education in which most of my peers make triple what I do out of college. But yet I chose to give back to the American people. If I did investment banking, would I be helping anyone? If I worked for BlackRock buying all the affordable housing, would that be beneficial? Because I'm sure I would not be getting the same hate if I did those jobs. I find it incredibly worrying when people are actively preying on the downfall of 2 million Americans, hoping that they lose their jobs. A lot of us are highly educated and highly skilled, and now we'll be competing for your jobs.
Are y'all okay? Because as someone myself who has never, ever worked a day in my life in the public sector, seeing folks who work in the private sector celebrate federal workers losing their jobs and getting laid off, are y'all okay? You do realize that these are highly skilled, highly trained, highly educated people that you will now have to compete with in the workforce to get a job? These same people who are probably doing more than you and getting paid less, who are now going to compete for your job and might just be okay getting paid less? Why? Why are you celebrating? I'm genuinely confused who you think the government was employing. Do you know how competitive those jobs are? The lack of thinking right now.
My whole team was laid off today. Thanks to the Trump administration and Doge, my entire team was laid off today. We've spent years of hard work trying just to understand how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. And now we'll never know.
I was one of the thousands of federal workers terminated this weekend. Let's talk about it. Am I surprised? No. I was working for a federal health agency, so once RFK Jr. was confirmed last week, and they started almost immediately with the CDC and firing off 1,300 probationary workers on Friday, I knew that my time was coming very shortly after, and I got my email on Saturday. It was from an email I've never seen before. It was something like important HR notification at agency.gov, an email I've never seen before. It didn't come from one of my managers or direct supervisors. I haven't heard from anybody superior to me. I just got that email letting me know I was terminated for performance. The email said something along the lines of, the agency does not see my current skills and abilities as fit for continued employment, and therefore they are terminating my employment. And this is the same email that thousands and thousands and thousands of people got. It doesn't actually reflect my abilities or anybody's abilities who was laid off via this email. They're using the same cookie cutter template because when you're on the probationary period, which I am, as well as the thousands of other people currently being laid off, you can only let us go if it is a performance issue or a budget issue or something along those lines. And I guess the only reason that they could find that they could issue in a mass manner was performance issues. And the thing is, it's almost comical when you reference performance issues when laying off probationary employees, because many of these probationary employees at these federal health agencies were presidential management fellows, were pathways program employees, other really competitive programs that you enter to start federal service. These are the people you're letting go. So it was literally the top talent that they were recruiting to bring in to fill in these gaps and where they need people to serve. And they're letting those people go because of performance issues. And it's also not just these brand new hires. When you are put on the probationary period, that could be an employee who's been with some agency for 10-20 years, but they just recently switched into a supervisor position, and so they were filling a gap in which they needed a supervisor in a critical role. They were serving for such a long period of time, serving successfully, that they were put into this role, and now in this new role they were put on a probationary period, and now they're being let go.
what we federal employees are not going to do is get on this damn app and act like we ain't got no sense. Like, you don't know how to do 5 bullet points.
I just wanted to share with my followers and other followers. I am one of the many federal employees who've been affected by these mass layoffs and cuts. But what the media and administration is not reporting is that the probationary cuts, which I'm totally fine with them cutting probationary employees if they properly say, hey, you're being cut because you're on probation and your services are no longer needed. Easy peasy, straight to the point. Doesn't sit well with people, but it still is the right thing and the better way to say it. What they did with myself and several others across the nation, well, not just several, thousands of us that were on probation. Now, for those of you that don't know, the probation period is 1 year for certain positions and 2 years for others. I was in a 1-year position. I was 4 weeks shy of hitting my year mark as a human resources specialist. And when they sent us our blanket termination emails, it was after hours, after we had already logged off for the day, terminating us effective immediately, and it was due to poor performance. They quoted the CFR that labeled conduct issues and poor performance, which immediately we all took offense to. I have fully successful appraisal. In fact, I was rated exceptional in majority of my categories. And I even have 2 awards that were given to me during my appraisal cycle. So it completely contradicts with how they let us go. So I just wanted to share that, there's so many people affected by this, and just wanted to be a voice for those that, are single parents, sole income of the family. I'm grateful that my family will be okay, but there are families that are not okay. This was no notice. Leadership, supervisors had no idea this was even coming, and this just happened just like that. Everybody's lives literally got flipped upside down.
The trauma for federal employees continues this week. The current administration asked Musk to get more aggressive, and we see him here with a chainsaw and his next tactic, which he also used at X, where he says that government workers must detail their jobs over the course of the work week or lose their jobs. The email said, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished this week and CC your manager. Musk then went on to post on X saying that employees who failed to answer this message would lose their jobs. Now there's deep confusion across federal employees about what to do. Should I reply? Should I wait for my manager to tell me what to do? Is this actually me submitting my resignation if I don't reply? This is micromanagement at its worst. All of you watching this video right now have experienced micromanagement, and you know how stressful it can be. Somebody's looking over your shoulder, just waiting for you to mess up. They are setting you up to fail. Musk and his team are sowing a climate of instability and fear inside of the government. One person who read the message said it left her with a pit in her stomach, and when she found out more of the context, she simply replied, "They're terrorizing us." Nobody likes fear and intimidation and micromanagement in their workplaces, and nobody likes it now. This torment needs to stop.
Today we got an email, well, I guess, that person sent an email all to federal workers stating that they need to send 5 bullet points of what they do for work. Excuse me, sir, if we're actually doing our work, when do we have the time to email you and then to have the audacity to say there's a deadline tonight by 11:59 p.m. to send it? Like, who does this person think he is? Like, you're trying to bully us into quitting our jobs, and I'm not quitting my job. I do a great job at what I do. It's just stressful to have to deal with this on a daily basis of not knowing what's going to happen.
Federal employees, I heard you all got that email last week asking you to justify your job by telling them what you did last week. There are 3 million federal employees in the US. You think they're gonna check every single one of those emails? No, they're gonna feed that into an AI. So what's stopping you from saying that you stopped like 15 nuclear bombs from hitting the United States? You defended your country from the Ottoman Empire. Like, last week was crazy. Like, damn, like, they don't care about the nuances behind your job. Why should you care about the nuances behind theirs?
USAID this week. Every morning for the last 23 years, I would wake up, I worked from home, and I put my left foot in, and then I put my left foot out, and then I put my left foot back in, and I'd shake it all about, and then I'd do the hokey pokey, and I'd turn myself around because that's what it was all about. You know, when I voted for Donald Trump, I knew there'd be cuts, but never in my wildest dreams did I think the Department of Hokey Pokey, as important as it is, would be one of them cut.
Now, that last guy was definitely clowning. It's very interesting to see people with so much different perspectives on these federal workers losing jobs. You see so many people that are actually making fun of them and think that it's a joke, even going as far as accusing them of being paid actors. Then you have many others who feel like it's wrong and people shouldn't be taking this lightly and taking this as a joke. And it's morally wrong to make fun of somebody losing their job. A lot of confusion and a lot of division going on. I'm definitely interested to see what you guys got to say in the comments. And definitely don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, or that notification bell for more.